Hey everyone! So one of the headaches when sewing smock garments is blocking the smocking when it's an insert. Am I right? Well, I've been meaning to do a video showing all the different methods, and seriously there are a good 5 or 6 methods I can list just off the top of my head on how to do this. And then I came across this method, and it is the end-all, be-all method. So you're going to need freezer paper, and when I couldn't find this in my local grocery store, I tried to substitute with a wax paper, parchment paper combo, but that will not work. So instead I ordered this from Amazon, and I will put a link below in the description box that will give a kickback to the channel, and I thank you. So take the freezer paper and use craft scissors to cut out the blocking pattern if that applies to your situation. I cut right inside the armhole area to give myself room for that zigzag that I'll show later on. Then you'll take your pleated piece of fabric and make sure the pleats are evenly distributed. And notice that I've pulled some of the pleats out so I have a seam allowance on each side of my pleated piece. Then you'll tie off your threads so your fabric is the correct length to what you are matching it up with. And with the waxy, shiny side of the freezer paper facing down, you'll iron this paper to your fabric. And it's best to do a test piece to make sure your fabric can handle the paper, just to be safer than sorry. And you can either iron the paper below the seam allowance, as I'm showing here, or you can iron the paper right flush with your fabric, as I'm showing here. And using this method means your machine will stitch through the paper. It also means the pleated fabric will be more stiff from the paper and it will hold up nicely, and I do prefer this method. Regardless though, set your machine to a tight-ish zigzag and go around the armhole areas. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you do want a few stitches into each pleat. You can go back over the paper with your iron if any has come loose before stitching the pleated piece to your flat fabric. And I prefer to stitch with the pleats up, just watching in case any came loose. None did, but you know, I like to practice safety. So if you stitch through the paper, you'll have to tear off the top parts before you can remove the bottom section. And voila, your pleats are pretty and you didn't have to pull your hair out. You can cut around the armhole area and continue with your projects. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching and I hope to catch y'all next time.